Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you have been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And also, turn on a notification bell so that way you know when I drop these videos. I try to be consistent. I try to do the post-game recaps after every game. Sometimes I have to take a night off. That's right. Yesterday actually was the anniversary, the 1-year anniversary of Into the Knicks-Verse when I launched this channel. And it was quite an adventure. I had no idea what to expect. And I did the pregame show all by myself yesterday. No one else could actually join me. Everyone else had conflicts and stuff. So I spoke for an hour, and that was pretty draining. And then that game was incredibly draining. And I needed some distance. I also wanted to read everything that the Knicks community was expressing, and watch, all the other content creators, the incredible content creators that we're so lucky as a Knicks community to have so many talented people analyzing this team for us and with us. And I also wanted to watch the post-game interviews and read the beat reporters, what they had to say. And I am going to possibly shock you all. That's right. My actual take on the whole situation is going to be very different than what I've been hearing. Now, maybe the past 24 hours have created a situation where people have been able to reflect on it more. So maybe the attitudes have shifted some, but even just earlier today, it didn't look like that. So let's see. We're going to see. So stick with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick recap on the game. Then I'm going to talk about why the Knicks right now might be in a can't lose situation. And I'm serious. And I will explain to you why. Right now, the Knicks are kind of in a place where if we win, we win. If we lose, we still win. We are in the classic win-win situation. Now, that can get screwed up. It can. But the way things are starting to play out, I think the Knicks are actually in a very good situation. Bear with me, and then I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to lay out a wish list, which is really not really wish, what the Knicks must do. And by the Knicks, I'm talking about Leon and Thibs, the whole organization, and players themselves, what they must do to get this team back on track and take advantage of the situation that they're in right now. So I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but stick with me on here. The first thing I want to show you is one of the two best moments of the night last night. The first one is this one.
Barrett drives on Westbrook, gets inside and
look at that. That was to cut the lead to 3. He just came right down, dunked it.
Barrett drives on Westbrook.
Look at that. Over AD and Westbrook. This is our young 21-year-old Broadway Barrett has arrived. Look at that. Saturday night, ABC primetime against the Lakers. You couldn't get a better moment for him to break out. Now then there's this highlight. I gotta say, I think I almost shed a tear when he hit that bucket. Now remember, about a minute earlier, he took a similar shot on the left side of the arc, just above the break, and he missed it. But Randle, actually, he fought hard. He got that rebound. Yeah, man, he really fought hard. He got that rebound on that play. So it ended up, look at that. Look at the celebration. Drink that in. Enjoy it, because this right here, that moment changes everything for the New York Knicks right now. Or maybe it confirms it all. So Knicks lost 122-115 to the Lakers in overtime. The score was tied 1-11 at the end of regulation, so the Knicks could only score 4 points in OT in those 5 minutes, and they allowed 11 points. It was pretty soul-crushing, to be honest, that we dropped this game after being up and having the best first quarter that the Knicks have had all season. 42 points, 71 at the half. We thought this game was ours, but the way they closed that first half, they kind of let the Lakers believe that they had a chance. And any team with LeBron is having a sensational season. Amazing that he's 37 years old having the season that he's having. So it was rough, and the Knicks came out in that third quarter. Yeah, we'll go to the highlights here. here we were in the first quarter was just outstanding. I mean, look at that. Boom. The Knicks, I think they hit 5 or 6 3-pointers in the first 5 minutes or something, and then basically could only hit another 6 for the rest of the game. It was rough, man. It was rough. Look at that. We were up 11-2, built such a tremendous lead. The ball was moving. They were sharing it. They were cutting. They were defending. However, they still allowed, wait, how many points did they allow? They still allowed like 56 points, I believe, in that first half, which is, you know, that's not shutting a team down. I'll tell you that. So the defense could definitely have been more robust. Let's put it that way. Yes, they allowed 56 points. They allowed almost 30 points in this first quarter. So in the first half, yeah, they allowed 29 and 27 to the Lakers. But that third quarter of doom once again destroyed the Knicks. They only got 13 points in that third quarter. It was brutal. It was brutal, but RJ Barrett, 36 points. Julius, 32 points. Outstanding performance from RJ Barrett, honestly. He could have been more efficient. Actually, he was pretty efficient. At one point, he was 10 out of 20. But then he got tired. And so did Randle. That third quarter everything went wrong for the Knicks in that third quarter. It was a bummer. Yeah, we'll go to it. Here we go. So you can see, we already kind of let them back. It was like a 12-point game, and then RJ hits that nice little friendly bucket there. Get it back up to 12. Actually, I think that was up to 14. But Malik Monk exploded. In fact, Malik Monk outscored the Knicks in that third quarter. He scored, I believe, 18 points in that third quarter, and the Knicks only scored 13, the entire team. And Thibs took out Mitch, which he had to, but he stuck with Nerlens way too long into that fourth quarter. These are the things that, you know, just kind of freak me out about Thibs and how slow he is to respond about certain things. But man, was he quick to bench quickly. The man played a few minutes in the first half, 5 minutes. Was he good? No. 3 silly fouls. I believe he committed a turnover, only had 1 assist. Actually, he did not have any turnovers. So there you go with that. But he just didn't look good. He wasn't playing good defense. But the thing about Quickly that we all know is that he's a fourth quarter beast. Why not bring him back? We needed his ball handling. We needed his penetration. We needed him, the gravity that he creates when he's on the court. And RJ was getting double teamed and triple teamed. Randle was getting double teamed, triple teamed at times. If we had Quickly out there, other than Burks, I mean, when you look at his stats, he gave us 12 points, but he was a -7, 4 assists. He shot 2 of 7. He did get to the free throw line a lot. He hit 7 of 8 of his free throws, so that was good, but he wasn't efficient. 1 of 4 from behind the arc. That was a mistake to not go back to Quickly. Just because Quickly had a bad first, or I guess it was a bad second quarter, doesn't mean he's gone for the rest of the game. I don't understand that mentality. I think it actually was one of the main reasons why it cost us the game. You know, Burks was making mistakes left and right, and he was getting burned on defense as well. Grimes couldn't deliver much today. 0 for 5. Overall, he missed an easy bucket right by the hoop there that could have made a humongous difference. He missed a 3-pointer from the corner, also could have made a huge difference. Burks also missed a corner 3. So it was left to RJ in that fourth quarter. In fact, the Knicks outscored the Lakers in the last, I believe, 4 minutes. Outscored them 12-3. 4 minutes or 2 minutes? Yeah, 12-3. And there it is, the beautiful moment. You guys, drink these 2 moments in. I have a lot to say about this. I have a lot to say about Mr. RJ Barrett. All right, so here we go. The game flow. You can see it right there. We had a huge lead, and then we battled back late in that fourth quarter. We were down by 8, I believe, at one time in that third quarter. We beautifully battled back. I was proud of the team for being able to scramble back and get back in. Actually, we were down by 9. All right, you can see here Randle Randle had a big game, and I got a lot to say about that as well. 32 points, 16 rebounds, 11 of 22, 7 assists. Look at RJ, 36 points, his career high. Another 30-point game for the season for him. Fantastic. Fournier, I wish that he had gotten more three-point looks in that second half especially. We kind of went away from the three-point shot because the Knicks got cold. Because the Lakers actually upped their defensive intensity. And they were chasing Fournier off the three-point line, chasing Burks off the three-point line. Sometimes they still kind of force the shot anyway because you kind of have to sometimes with the clock ticking down. But got to give credit to the Lakers. Their defense in the third quarter made a huge difference, but the Knicks did not respond. Thibs did not pivot. Why? All right, we'll get into it. Man, but look at Nerlens. 1 of 3, 5 points, only 1 rebound. Obi, he was not that impactful as well, but he gave a solid 12 minutes tonight, even though he only hit 2 of 7 field goals, but his three-pointers didn't connect. He did get 5 rebounds, which was nice. The Knicks overall played a very, very solid game. However, Kemba Walker, why he was left in the game in that third quarter for so long, I don't understand. I could count, because I rewatched the second half, I counted in that third quarter alone at least 5 negative impact plays or non-plays that Kemba made. There was a play when RJ penetrated, got into the paint. They closed out on him. He couldn't quite get his shot off, but he was actually looking for the outlet guy in the corner. But Kemba didn't slide over. He slid over way too late. When RJ looked, Kemba wasn't there. He was actually by the right break. Then he slid over. Then RJ got on the ball. But by then, the defender had already realized what RJ was going to do. So he was closing out on Kemba, and Kemba tried to penetrate, and he airballed the floater. So that was a bad one. Another mistake was on the defensive end. Just didn't rush out to cover the defender. Another mistake was he, instead of battling and fighting to get through the screen and stick with Malik, he let Malik go. Totally. And there was another mistake where he again in the pick and roll, he actually ended up on Anthony Davis. Ridiculous. What were the other two? They'll come to me. But there were so many mistakes. He was such a negative impact player in that third quarter that's the moment where you just like, if you're Thibs, you got to make an adjustment. I understand the team was looking great in that first quarter, in that first half. But you have to understand how the game is trending. Make in-game adjustments. Why not at that point? Why not just bring in Grimes at that point and let RJ handle the... if you're afraid of quickly, if you lost confidence in him, bring in Grimes, let RJ run the point, and maybe we can stop the bleeding. Nope. Just waited, and then till the lead was gone. And then the Lakers had the lead. And then it was a battle to the end. And then you're playing at their stadium, in their home stadium, and they just came back from a tremendous deficit they were down 21 points in that first quarter, actually. And so, of course, they're going to feel awesome. And they have LeBron James, they have AD, Malik is going off like crazy. They felt the surge. They had the momentum on going in their way, and we did not adjust quick enough to stop that momentum. And let me tell you, if it weren't for RJ Barrett, they would have blown us out in regulation. I'm telling you guys. All right, here we go. Look at Lakers. Look, AD 13 of 19, 17 rebounds. He was a problem. He was a big problem. And LeBron, man. LeBron, he hit 2 buckets one of them was like a 35-footer, 34-foot three-point shot. He just shot it right over RJ. And then there was another one. There was actually a really good defensive play on the left baseline. He did a turnaround fadeaway. He just hit it. I mean, RJ just played great D. I think even Grimes was there to kind of help disrupt to box him in a little bit. But, you know, when someone just, when great offense trumps great defense, you just got to tip your cap to him and just move on. And he just made some amazing shots. So good for him. Malik Monk, 29 points, 11 of 24 of 8. His three-pointers, I felt like every single three-pointer he hit was just another dagger, man. And it was just, oh, man, it was brutal. It was hard to watch that stuff, actually. As you can see, the Knicks shot pretty well overall. They shot better than, actually, the Knicks shot, no. I was looking at the free throws. Yeah, we actually hit free throws. 26 of 36 for 72.2%, which is, you know, not great, but at least it's better than what it's been. Lakers only hit 60.7% of theirs. Both teams struggled from behind the arc. We hit about 29% of ours. They hit about 27% of theirs. In the paint, though, we did get beat. They scored 72 points in the paint. We only got 48. Fast break points, we beat the Lakers in fast break points. But most of that, I got to tell you, was in that first half. Though you did see what RJ did towards the close of that fourth quarter. Rebounds were about the same. Assists, you know, they had 29. We had 24, which in an overtime game, 24 isn't that great. Look at that, the foul situation. But what was the other thing? The turnovers. 14 to 13. That was pretty even there. But we just shut down as a team. We stopped having, also we reverted to ISO ball. Why? I think there were like 3 out of 5 possessions in that third quarter early on where Randle was the guy with the ball in his hands, and it was ISO. He connected on one of them, but the other times it just resulted in no points. See, when that's happening, that's when you want to call a timeout, get the team, regroup them. Now, Thibs did call a timeout, but we just have not been a good post-timeout team. We don't respond well to after timeouts this year. I think last year we did much better. This season, there are times once in a while where we do, but in general, we're not responding well. All right, well, here we go. Now, this guy here, I forgot to add. He was the star of the game. I forgot to add his images here. All right. Here we go. This is why the Knicks are in a win-win situation. Last night, RJ Barrett exploded. Career high, and he guarded LeBron James. He took the toughest assignment, and he delivered on the offensive end. He played 50 minutes. I mean, he played 50 minutes. And he got, how many assists did he have? He had 5 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 of 10 from the three-point line. Tremendous game. RJ Barrett has arrived. What we have learned is RJ Barrett is for real. That is right. I believe RJ Barrett will finally deliver on the promise of his youth, of his early youth in Canada. And his number 3 pick situation, and how he led Duke, even though Zion and Cam were on that team. He actually is going to fully realize all of that potential, and it might actually turn into him being a key piece on a championship team. Will he be a number 1? Not sure, but he definitely can be a number 2 or a number 3 on a championship team, which is very different than being a number 2, on a middling team. I'm talking about number 2 on a championship team. RJ Barrett is for real. He has arrived. Star J, Broadway Barrett, whatever you want to call him. The man is for real, and he's only 21 years old. The Knicks got something special in this guy. All right, number 2. Here we go. Julius Randle. Number 2 reason why the Knicks are in a win-win situation. Julius Randle, last night, showed that the 2020 version of Julius Randle still lives inside him. And it came out last night. Look at those monster 32 points, 16 rebounds, shot 50% from the field, 50% from behind the three-point line. It's there. So we know that when he's focused and committed, he did have some lapses defensively, but the man even blocked a shot. That's right. And there was a one possession where he battled AD and two other Lakers, three guys in the paint, just him by himself. He battled, and he finally got the foul call. That kind of hustle and determination is what made him a second-team All-NBA and All-Star last season. So we know it's there. What the beautiful part of it is, his trade value, the collapse in his trade value has been stopped, because now we know that the ability actually is still in there. It's just this has to get straightened out. So they know that if he gets a change of scenery, he could actually return somewhat to the player that he was last season. Can he be the exact player that he was last season? Why not? He's only 27. He's still young. Here's the other beauty of it is, and now for a lot of you guys, you may not like this. Here's the other beauty. If we can't find the right trade value in exchange for him, we keep him. We keep him, and we keep trying to unlock that 2020 version of Julius, because we know it's there too. So it's a win-win, because now we can trade him, get something good that we need in return, like we're talking about, like De'Aaron Fox. We need a young point guard with a very high ceiling. That's what this team desperately needs, and maybe Julius Randle can bring us that. But even if he stays, he is a solid piece. He could be a number three on a championship team, the sidekick. He could be that kind of guy, especially when he plays the defense that we've seen him play. Though he did have lapses in that third quarter, which is a problem, but he needs to, either way, he's showing us that because there's been a lot of talk that it's possible that Julius, last year was such an outlier year, he can never be that guy. Well, I think last night showed that he absolutely can. Totally. And if he keeps replicating that, which we might see that he will, because he found something inside him last night. So let's hope that that's the case here. To me, that's a win-win. Trade him, we get better value. Keep him, we get a better version of Julius than we've had this season. All right, number 3. Here is a fun one. Oh, wait, here we go. There it is. The Knicks right now are not in the play-in. The Knicks right now are in the lottery. So, we have this team. We have this, exciting young core. We have a budding star in RJ. We have drafted very well the past 2 years. Obi is still the more unknown, but I believe that Obi can still be an impactful power forward in this league, a winning power forward. Grimes has shown that he has that Clay-esque type game to him. Maybe he can be the B+ version of what Clay is. If Clay's an A+, maybe Grimes can be a B+ version of him. Emmanuel Quickley, if you watch the pregame show, I had a whole section about how impactful he actually is. He's actually one of the very best point guard combos under 26 years old in the entire NBA. In fact, I might actually spin that section out of that pregame as its own video so you can see it. I mean, he's like right below Trey, Darius Garland, and Luka, and then it's IQ. Now, of course, he plays mostly against the other team's bench, but in those fourth quarters, he's often going against the first stringers. His impact is phenomenal, and look, we might end up with a lottery pick, and possibly, maybe this year, we can actually do a little package and maybe trade up, because the draft, the top 5 is some really exciting players, but every year we see that guys come out of the woodwork, guys pop like Franz Wagner. Look, who thought he was going to be what he is now? Josh Giddey, really interesting player. Zaire Williams. Look at that. Last year's draft was incredibly deep, but there could be some quality. Even if we just stay at 10th position, we could get some quality. Nice to add a piece like that. The fourth reason. Here's the fourth reason. So the best thing is, if the Knicks don't get better and we don't make the play-in, we get a lottery pick. But here's the fourth reason. And this has to happen. Now, this is the one that is contingent on an actual decision, but we've already heard that the front office wants to go with the youth movement. And the trade deadline is in a few days. And I expect that there's going to be some movement because they want to clear up roster spots, rotation spots, so that the young players can play more. Here's the beauty of it. If they do that and the Knicks respond and actually win and get themselves into that 10th spot in the play-in, and they were led by the youth, that shows the quality of the young core that we have on this team. So if the young core leads us into the play-in, that's a win. If they don't lead us into the play-in, we have the draft lottery. If we trade Randle, that's a win. If we keep Randle, look how he's playing. And also, he actually is beginning to understand his role with RJ. Understanding that RJ is really turning into something, and I can see Randle starting to accept that. So that's a win. But the biggest win of all, and the most important win, the only thing that matters actually, is that RJ Barrett, there it is. Hand youth the ball. RJ Barrett actually has star potential in this league. Whether he has superstar potential, not sure. But he definitely is. He'll be a fringe all-star for the majority of his career, I believe, while he's healthy. And he's only 21. Fantastic. All right. Now, here we go. Here is the must-dos wish list from Into the Knicks-Verse 2. Leon Rose. And, I revealed it all. Should have had that set up. All right, here we go. First, got to move Kemba and add a point guard. Now, I made that add a point guard kind of vague because my preference would be add a young point guard. However, the trade deadline is coming. There's only so many players that are available. There's only so much you can actually do. If we can move Randle for Fox, fantastic. But either way, Kemba has to go to another team. And there's been discussions that Charlotte has shown interest in him. And that would be a nice place for him to go back to because that's actually his second home. He didn't ever wanted to leave there at all. If they had given him the max, he'd still be there. So it'd be nice for him to return back to Charlotte. There's a rumor of them sending us Ish Smith and a second-round pick. That sounds good to me. Now, the point guard, it could be Derrick Rose. February 25th is what's the target for his first game back. And we have Emmanuel Quickley, and we have Deuce. So if we go with the young movement, Deuce will get some burn. So either way, Kemba has to go, and we need to add a point guard. The next thing is trade Burks. We have to trade Alec Burks. His value is falling every single game he plays, unfortunately, but he's been around long enough. Teams know what he can do, so I wouldn't worry too much about being able to get the right kind of value for him right now based on his recent performance. We will still get something for him. The thing is, it's been reported that the Knicks want to attach other vets to him, so it's more of a 2-for-1 kind of situation, and maybe we get a pick back in return. That's all fine. I don't even care about the specifics of it. He just has to go because we need to get Cam some burn. We need to solidify Grimes in the rotation. And we need to win. Burks, actually, right now, maybe it's because of the trade rumors that have been circulating around. It's making him feel uneasy. He's not on solid footing, and it's impacting his game on the court. It's possible that's the case. But, the Swiss Army knife, the fourth quarter assassin, still lives within him. He could make a contending team. He could really help a contending team get over the hump. There's Utah. It's been rumored now recently. The Cavs made a trade for Karis LeVert. So they're probably out of the mix in that respect. But there are lots of other teams that could still use them. In fact, the Lakers. Possibly the Lakers. Then we got... Oh, here we go. Add a young stretch 5. We have to. We need someone that can shoot, who's tall, and can protect the rim. We don't have anyone like that. I mean, Mitch is fantastic, but he lives a foot from the hoop. That's where he lives. and it clogs up the paint, which sometimes it's fine. But we need to have the flexibility to adjust in the game at those moments. And the two guys that I'm thinking about are, what the hell? Here we go. Mo Bamba and Jalen Smith. Both very young, high ceilings, probably wouldn't cost much. Either one. Let's bring one of these two guys. I would prefer Mo because he's a New York guy. He's a Harlem guy. I think he would, and he actually, I kind of feeling that he really wants to go to New York. I'd love him. But Jalen Smith also, he was a top 10 draft pick. There's not much room for him to grow in Phoenix right now because they're actually, trying to win it all. And they don't have time for him to develop. But the Knicks have time, and our timeline suits him. Our timeline suits either of these two guys. Imagine when RJ had gotten into the paint and he got jammed up. He saw Mo in the corner, just threw the ball over there. But Mo's 7 feet tall. You could catch anything that RJ throws, and he swishes a three. We don't have a guy like that. Taj can do it sometimes, but Taj is old. Taj is slowed down. Taj is in the future. We need to solidify this team as a young core to build towards next season. Either one of these two guys would be an interesting addition to this team. Okay. The next thing is, like I said before, we have to hand RJ the keys. And Julius, you just have to accept this. It's better for you. It's better for your career. It's better for the Knicks. It's better for RJ. It's better for us, the fans. I think a lot of the reason why you're catching so much heat is because you are the lightning rod. And because you are, quote, the leader of the team. Sometimes the most difficult thing in life is to understand what your weaknesses are. And leading is not one of your plus attributes. All right, can you be a fantastic, impactful player on the court? Yes, you can. We've seen it. But your mental makeup, you get into, you're just a little too volatile to be the leader of this team. It's time for RJ to do it. Plus, I feel like RJ, he's kind of like, he's been holding back some until recently, until the past month and a half or so. I saw a guy who was holding back. He was being too respectful to you, too differential to you. That's not how, you got to let him bloom. You have to let him bloom. And now is the time. Hand RJ the keys. Finally, and I've said it before, this whole show is about this last thing, and it's the most important thing. Let the youth lead. No matter what, it's a win-win. If they lead us into the play-in and into the playoffs, it's fantastic. If they're given the keys and allowed to attempt it but fail, it's still a win because what the learning experience they will gain will last and help next season and increase the value of all of these young players. All right, so there you have it. Those are my feelings about this. I want to hear your thoughts about everything I'm proposing here. Please drop your comments. I read them all. I love it. Hit the thumbs ups. Very much appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.